Welcome back, children. So, in the previous class, we have studied the sex determination in human being. That is how a human child is born as a male or a female, and what is the probability of male child to be born or a female child to be born, or is there any way by which we can increase the male child or the female child in a family, or whatever other type of question, which are the commonly thought question, believed question. People generally want to know about all these things. See, one of the basic reason why people wanted to study about heredity was this. Okay, at least when we talk about the human heredity. Now, for the other animals, where the cultivable animals are there, they may have an intention to how to get more milk or how to get more food or tasty food or this and that and so many things. But when we talk about the human being, there are not very much. First of all, we must remember that human beings are not experimental objects, so that you can experiment and you can find out that what will happen. Okay? So there are a number of things which was studied in due course of time by the study of the already existing families and how their characters are passing. That is, if a couple is there in which the male is having black eyes and the female is having brown eyes, and the female which is there in our entire trend, there are a lot of people over there. That is the most commonly they have brown eyes, and there are males in which are always had black eyes. What are the probability of their brown or black eyed child to be born? And according to that, they came to know that what is dominant character, what is recessive character, and what character are more common and all. So there are a number of things which we have studied in due course of time. So heredity paved the way for the knowledge of so many things. That is, it also helped us to improve the high-yielding varieties, improve the certain characteristic in the population, eliminate or exclude certain characteristic, how to remove a particular individual, that is by selective breeding and all. So there are a number of things the heredity help us to do. Okay, and Mendel was the first person who of course paved a new way for us to study. And today we know a lot about that, a lot about heredity. Of course, in your course it is only limited to this much. Let us do the question answer, which are given on page number 147. First question: how do Mendel's experiments show that a trait may be dominant or recessive? A trait may be dominant or recessive. What Mendel did? He took a pure tall plant, and he took another pure dwarf plant. We already explained that is what is meant by pure. When that is on self-pollination, they produce only one kind of plant. Then we call them as a pure plant. So pure tall and pure dwarf. And when these plants were crossed in F1 generation, Mendel always found only tall plants. So Mendel repeated the same experiment with the other characters. When he studied about the seed color, flower color, pod color, shape of the seed, and position of flower and all. And in all his experiments, in his experiment, when a pair of pure contrasting characters were taken, in F1 only one character appeared, the other character is not expressing itself. The character which expresses itself is called dominant character, and the one which failed to express itself is called recessive character. So this is how Mendel's very first law is come into being. That is when a pair of contrasting characters were taken, pure contrasting characters were taken and crossed in F1 generation, he always got only one trait, one character. That is, out of the tallness, height, that is the tall plant and dwarfness, he got only tall plant. Out of the purple flower and white flower, he always got purple flower. Out of yellow seed and green seed, he always got yellow seed. Out of a yellow pod and the green pod, he always got green pod. Out of the that is the axial position of the flower or terminal position of flower, he always got axial flower. So these were the dominant character, and this is how he reached to this conclusion. Question number 2: how do Mendel's experiments show that the traits are inherited independently? Traits are inherited independently. Let us see it for an example. When a dihybrid or a polyhybrid cross is conducted, dihybrid cross ले लेते हैं, dihybrid cross in which he has taken pure brown pure, wrinkled, and green seaweed plant. Crosses were done. F1 generation we found only yellow and round. There is nothing wrong in this according to the Mendel. Mendel said out of the two colors, that is the green, yellow and green, the one which is dominant will express. Out of the shape, that is round and wrinkled, the round will express, that is one of the character will express, the other will remain hidden. So these are the dominant character. Yellow color and the round shape of the seeds are dominant character. Till there, no problem. Let us go ahead with the F1 round and yellow color seed. Now we got two plants from the F1 generation. The round and yellow seeded. F1 plant and round and yellow seeded plant from F1. Now, according to the Mendel just thought that out of these two, he had taken the initially two type of parents, that is the round and yellow and wrinkled and green. In F1 generation, he got round and yellow. Consider the first experiment, he did taken tall plant and dwarf plant. In F1, he got only tall plant. F2 generation, what he got? 3 times plants tall and 1 time dwarf. Here also he is expecting that 3 times plants will come as the round and yellow and 1 time plant will come as the wrinkled and green. Now what he found? Let us see. Capital R small r, capital Y small y was the genetic combination. Capital R small r, capital Y and small y. The allelic combination you say, or genetic combination, or you can say genotype. Mendel thought that there will be only two possibilities, capital R and capital Y and small r and small y. And there will be 3:1 ratio. But when the plants were conducted, he found 9:3:3:1. So 9 type plants will be work of round and yellow type. Round and yellow 9 times and wrinkled and green 1 time. Now 2 more forms he got, that is the round and green 3 and wrinkled and yellow 3. Where has these new combinations come from? That means the shape and the color of the seed are independent to one another. They are not fixed, they are not bound. What Mendel thought, the round will always be with the yellow and wrinkled will always be with the green. But here he got the round with green also and wrinkled with yellow also. So these are recombination. This can only be possible when the factor of roundness can also go with green, factor of green color, and factor of wrinkledness can also go with yellow color. So the characters will independently inherit. Capital R, capital Y, capital R, small y, small r, capital Y, and small r, small y. So if we make a checkerboard to check कोरोना काल की शादियां, let's see, capital R, capital R, capital Y, capital Y, capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. ये चार इधर लिख देते हैं, capital R, capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. Capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. Capital R, capital R, small y, small y, small r, capital Y, capital Y. लिखते हैं। ओके, यहाँ क्या देखने को मिल रहा है, आर कैपिटल है, बाकी सब छोटे हैं। diagonally you can write here. Here what you find, R and R, small, capital Y and small y. And small r and small y and small y. So wherever one capital R is there, वो सारे तो round हो जाएंगे. Wherever one capital Y is there, they all will become yellow. So with this stroke, I'm rounding yellow दिखाता है. Round yellow, 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 and हो गया. 4 2 6 8 और 9. With this stroke, we'll found round and green, round and green, round and green, and round and green. With this stroke, we'll found round and wrinkled and yellow, wrinkled and yellow, wrinkled and yellow, wrinkled and yellow. And without any stroke, we'll keep this. So here, by this experiment, we come to know that each character is independently moving. Capital R can go with capital Y, capital R can go with small y. Small r can go with capital Y, or small r can go with small y. And you must know that what capital R and small r are representing. So that is called law of independent assortment. Question number 3. A man with a blood group A marries to a woman with blood group O, and that their daughter has blood group O. Is this information enough to tell you which of the trait A or O is dominant? Why or why not? Let us see. Read the question again. A man with blood group A, man, blood group A, woman, blood group O. Okay? And their daughter has blood group O. Is this information enough to tell which of the two traits, A or O, is dominant? Let us see. अगर हम मानते हैं A is dominant, if A is dominant, तो what can be the condition? ये भी A को रिप्रेजेंट करेगा और ये भी A को रिप्रेजेंट करेगा. If O is dominant, this will also represent O and this will also represent O. When O is dominant, that means it will become O. Both O are there, then the O will be there. Okay. Now we'll have to consider. If A is dominant, this one and this one के साथ में क्या होगा? And if O is dominant, इसके साथ क्या होगा? So let us see. Two cases हम ले लेंगे. Thinking that if A is dominant, तो क्या होगा? इसको इसको स्टडी करा देते हैं. AO and AO. They will form two gametes A and O. A and O. This and this blood group A. This and this blood group A. This and this blood group A. And this blood group. If A is dominant, then also we can get blood group O. If O is dominant, so the problem is AO. Segregation A and O. A and O. This A can go with this A, blood group will become A. If this A can go with this O, blood group will become O is dominant, so this will become O. If this goes with this, the blood group will become O, because O is taken dominant. And if this goes with this, blood group O. So यहाँ पे 3 O जाएंगे, यहाँ 3 A है and O is there. So in the both the cases, In the both the cases, if you consider यहाँ पे A is dominant and here O is dominant. अच्छा, now you wanted this to be A, so यहाँ पे A हो गया, उसको O रखना, A is dominant. This is segregated and this. O A is dominant, तो O कब होगा, जब ये होगा. चलिए, A is dominant and वहाँ से क्या है, यहाँ से क्या है A, from there it is. So A will be the blood group. यहाँ से O आया और उधर से O आया, so blood group will be O. So even if the blood group A is dominant, if A के साथ में we can get O type of blood. Even if this is the case where we are thinking O is dominant, then this can be considered. And then क्या होगा? Then also we can O is dominant. Okay. So in this case, the blood group will be A. Here the blood group will be O. And A and O. Here A and O. यहाँ पे भी A and O, and from there also you get A and O. So in that case what will happen? Since the O is dominant, then the blood group will be O. Even if you consider it O, तो फिर सारे blood group O हो जाएंगे. So this information is not sufficient. This information is not sufficient to say whether the blood group is A is dominant or O is dominant. Then question number 4, how a sex of a child determined? Sex of a child is determined by sex chromosome. We have studied that there are one pair of chromosomes known as sex chromosome, and that chromosome can be X and X in case of female and X and Y in case of female. हमने पढ़ा that in human being 23 pairs of chromosomes are there. Out of the 23 pairs, 22 pairs are identical in both. They are called autosomes. One pair is sex chromosomes, which varies. In the male, it is X and Y. In females, it is X and X. Let us now उसको क्यों लिखना, because they are same. So we will consider with this. So this is a female with X and X chromosomes. This is a male with X and Y chromosomes. They will segregate, so they will produce all the X with X type, and they will segregate, they will produce 50% of the sperm with X type and 50% of the sperm with Y type. Now let us see what happens when this X and this X, this egg and this sperm fertilizes. The child will have X and X combination, which tells that it should be a daughter. When this X is fertilized with the sperm, then also we get X and X, so the sex of the child will be girl. When this X fertilizes with this Y, the sex of the born child will be male. When this X fertilizes with this, again the sex of the born child will be male. So the sex of a born child will be depending on the X or Y type of chromosome given by the male, not by the female, because the female will always have X type of X. All the X, irrespective of which female it is, what age, what sex, what color, what country, whatever it is, female will always produce all the X with X type, all the X with X type, and males will produce half of the sperms with X type and half of the sperms with Y type. ठीक है, 100% eggs are produced by X type. 50% of sperms are produced X type, 50% of sperms are produced Y type. So now, if the X type of sperms are fertilized with the eggs, then the female child are born. When the Y type of sperms are fertilized with the X type of eggs, male child will be born. So there will be an equal possibility, 50% boy child to be born and 50% of girl child. And that is why you see in human population, the sex ratio, that is the ideal sex ratio of any population is 50% male and 50% female. However, in India it is not very well practiced, and we know that there are so many cases where the female feticide is there, where the females are born either before their birth or soon after their birth, and that is why the number of females are far less in compared to the male in certain states. Okay? And this should not be happen, and this is not a good trend. The number of the male and female should be equal, so that every male will get an opportunity to get married to a female, and every female will get an opportunity to get married to a male. If any one of these ratio will decrease, then actually there will be certain number of other individuals will remain unpaired. They will not get the chance to get married. Okay, so this is the ideal condition, and we have studied by this there are three things are there, that is the sex of a child born is not depending on the female, but it is depending on the male. Then second, there is equal number of sperms with the X and Y types are produced, and third, there is an equal probability of or equal chances or percentage of male and the female child to be born naturally. Unnaturally, human being can do lot of things which are unethical, which are wrong, which are unreligious, which are not accepted by society, yet these things are going on in the thing. So that's all for today's class, and with this we have already completed the heredity portion. Now in the next class onwards, in the next week, we will study about evolution. Thank you children. Bye. Good day.